I saw the person who sexually I was a child. And that was the first time I ever saw this person in 20 years, 22 years. But I got hot, my body started to shake, and then tears welled up in my eyes all at once. And I just felt you grab hold to me. Did a phenomenal job.
Mhm.
All right. Sorry, no tears.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Male to Man podcast. I'm glad y'all are here. I'm here with a very special guest today, my wife, Maya Phillips. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So obviously we're newlyweds. We've been, just got married in October. Let's open up a little bit of our story. So how did we meet from your perspective?
Story written literally by the Lord. Um, we met before we met. Actually, my husband and I, we sat next to each other at a wedding that was a mutual friend of ours. And at the time, we were in different relationships, or I was in a relationship. I know you had your situation,
Mm.
but we
It
sat.
wasn't much of a situation. at that point, it was more of wishful thinking.
Oh, that's funny. But yes, we were at the same wedding of a mutual friend, and we sat right next to each other. And there was one open seat, and I always love to believe now that that was the Lord sitting in between us. And like I said, at the time I was in a relationship, but I saw you. I was like, "You fine." But I also, one, I was in church. So I was like, "All right, chill
Mhm.
out." Two, I was in a relationship. But it was at that same wedding that I was sitting there watching the ceremony. It was beautiful. And the Lord whispered to me about the guy that I was with at the time and said, "That ain't your husband."
Mm.
And I was like, "Well, what you mean? What you mean that's not my husband? I've been putting in all this time, this work, even though all the signs were there that that was not my husband. That was just not for me at all." And I just didn't know what to do with that. I was so stunned. But
What did the signs look like for you?
oh God, the signs for me that that was not my husband is I was not safe. I think
Mhm.
that sums it up. I wasn't safe. It was um an unhealthy relationship. There was all kinds of abuse.
Mhm.
So, but when you're in something like that, your mind is wrapped up in it, and then match that like with emotions and trying to get out safely and stuff like that. Mind you, nobody knew what I was going through until I got out of it. Praise God, because I mean, research shows that 30% of women don't get out of abusive relationships. But thank God I was in the percentage that got out. Um, but yeah, those were the signs that this wasn't safe for me, and that wasn't who was for me. But the Lord showed me.
Okay, you talked about the wedding. Take us a year later when we actually met.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta share your side.
Well, okay, you're right. So we at this wedding.
Mhm.
We going to the wedding. Let's back up a little bit. I was racking my brain trying to get my fit right for this wedding because I had to impress my ex, and I was going there to get her back, and so I had to be smooth and fresh and whatever.
He looked
So,
good, y'all.
so anyway, I'm there, uh, and I walk in. I'm with my homeboy, and my homeboy tapping me. He looking at this woman walk by and sit right beside us, and he looking at me like, and so I'm also in my head. I'm like, you right, but I was focused.
Mhm.
I was on a mission. It failed. But which I am happy, obviously. But so I was on a mission. I was trying my hardest to like look the other way, like make sure I wasn't looking at her. But she was looking forward anyway. But I did notice her. So a year later, we got with some mutual friends,
Mhm. Yeah.
and she was kind of doing her thing. But I didn't even notice fully that that was you that I sat right beside until
Mhm.
until later on in our story. But go ahead, tell your
Yeah.
side.
I had my hair different.
Yeah.
I had it was cute too, and but my hair was different. I mean, we saw each other. I like to think of it as like God showed us a glimpse of each other before he showed us each other.
Yeah, because I was praying, like,
Yeah.
I was praying, and it was, being joking, but I was like I was praying to have an answer,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And I got an answer. It just wasn't the
We
one.
both did.
Yeah, it just wasn't the one I wanted, but it was one
Yeah,
that's much better, and I know God writes love stories like that. But anyway, keep on going.
he does, he does. But yeah, what we didn't realize, and this is crazy because I did share this with you, that I actually have a video on my phone of
Mhm,
me sitting right next to and it's probably like 7 to 15-second video, but there's a video on my phone that's literally showing me at the wedding recording and it's you sitting right next to me. And
mhm,
I was like, "Man, like, that is crazy." And the other crazy part was that we met or saw each other at that wedding. That was in July.
mhm.
And then when we officially met for the first time, that was also in July, just a year later. And that's just God's timing. And by that time, I had, thank God, gotten out of my last relationship safely. I was on a healing journey, me and the Lord, deep, locked in. My family was surrounding me, loving on me. I was building a new community, just making sure that I was, healthy, safe, growing, evolving, working, trying to get back in school and stuff like that. So that's where I was in the season, right before we so, yeah, and then we met in our Bible study group.
So, do you think you were ready? Okay, so when we both met mutual friends, right?
Mhm,
We weren't really trying to talk. I was
mhm,
like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was getting out the streets. So I was just going to like, man, I don't want to do something I don't want to do.
yeah,
Well, I'm kind of tired of doing that.
mm,
And like, I was talking to God, I want to heal the right way. So
mhm,
I came, like, let's have some fun, but never on no, like, let's try to holler or date, nothing like that. And
right,
I didn't know you was gonna be there. And then I guess kind of, so we both kind of met in this time where
mhm.
if it was up to us, we would say we weren't ready. How important is it to be ready?
Um, it's important to think you ready. Like, we all wanna feel, at least me personally, I wanna feel like I'm ready or prepared for something, but the timing that we met, I didn't think I was ready to pursue another relationship. I had told the Lord that I wanted to be single for 3 years. I wanted to go full in on my career path, which was dentistry at the time. I wanted to grow closer with God. Like, I was like, "I'm not going on no dates. I'm not giving these men a time of day. I don't even wanna entertain anybody." I was just, like, shut off because I just had to preserve and protect Maya at the time. When Maya didn't know at that time, like, let the Lord just protect you, just who you are. Now, I learned that today, but back then I didn't know that. But, the Lord qualified me to be ready for this. I think that He had been preparing me for some time to become a wife, and that was back in high school. I've never been a jump from a relationship to a relationship type girl. I've few boyfriends growing up. Actually, I mean, 3rd time's a charm, hello, because you're my 3rd boyfriend, and thank God that you're my husband. But yeah, I was a long-term girl, so I knew that I was, gonna be married someday. I just didn't know when it would happen. I always prayed that it would happen, but I just didn't think it would actually happen, you know what I mean? But, yeah, the Lord qualified me that I was ready because He knew once I turned myself to Him, fully submitted my life to Him, He could bless me in a way that He knew that I need.
Did 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 you have any hesitations, like, as we were about to get together, or
Mhm,
talking where you started to realize, like, "Alright, I might like this dude a little bit,"
mhm.
and as we progressed into getting together, did you have any hesitations?
I did have hesitations, only because I didn't know if I was ready for a relationship. I didn't know if I could trust somebody to handle me because, my past. And So, yeah, those were my hesitations was like, "Is this a good time?" Like, I don't really know. So, yeah, I did.
I think that's it. You know, what you're saying is vital because for on the man side of it, we feel like we have to have everything together. We
Mhm,
put the weight of the world on our shoulders.
mhm,
You know, it's a lot of pressure on us, especially in today's dating environment.
mhm,
You got the red pill community and these men and women who feel like I need this, this, and this.
mhm,
I need to be fully taken care of, or I have to be able to fully take care of a woman. So, you know, we both, I think, kind of felt that we weren't necessarily ready because I was doing good, doing my business or whatever. I wasn't spiritually or healed to the point where I would have liked what I felt that I wasn't. But you said something really important. It's like God qualified, and
mhm,
God made the decision. And I think that reigns true
mhm.
that it's God writes our stories. It's up
Yeah.
to us to like be there, present, pray, and then God brings us together.
Mhm.
Because one of the prayers that you had was that we heal together, you know,
Yes.
and that's what we've been doing, healing, especially coming out of a bad relationship.
Mhm,
Now I've seen you do a lot of work. Um, I've done a lot of work. But how fast forward to us now we
mhm,
married.
mhm,
When it comes to conflict with us,
mhm,
and we talk about triggers, this
mhm,
great book, The Body Remembers the Score. As a wife,
mhm.
talk about some of your triggers and how they show up for you in this relationship.
Um, some of my triggers are, like, being anxious. Like, if there's conflict, I'll get anxious. And this was before we got married, of course, but, like, anxiousness in a way of, "Okay, we're arguing, so that must mean that we're done, like, we're about to break up. Oh my god, everything's about to end, like, it's all over. Alright, hang it up." It's like that whole, like, dialogue in the mind, and if people who have, you know, um troubles with anxiety, like, they get it. Like, you
Mhm.
just sometimes you just spiral, and just be gracious with yourself. I had to learn to be gracious with myself, and I learned a little bit about that before I met you, but I didn't know that I was gonna have triggers until we came together, because
Mhm.
when you single, it's just you. You ain't got nobody to, ruffle your feathers or disagree with, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? So, when we would have conflict, that was my first response is anxiety. Or, because it wasn't like I was, triggered by anything harmful because, like, you're safe for me. I come from an environment where I wasn't safe, so I naturally would probably get defensive, um, but now I've learned to work that wall down. So, yeah.
Because I know it will take me back as well.
Mhm,
Because I didn't know I had triggers until we got together.
mhm,
There's certain, and they're different.
mhm.
Like there's certain situations where I will feel uh unsupported,
Mhm,
unwanted, and it's not really the truth. It's more of you get in this moment with a new person, and
mhm.
like you said, having to realize that you are safe,
Yeah,
that you are good.
yeah.
So when did it take you a minute to notice when you
Mhm,
were in a trigger? And like what do you have to for you doing intentionally to like, I I'm triggered. I
mhm,
have to this is I have to know my person.
mhm. It took time. I mean, and even now, like, we're still we still work through things, but I think I realized back then, like, okay, like you said a good point, babe. You said, we're both in a different situation now. Like, we're both safe. Like, this a safe space for us both. So that means we can't show up like we because we're in a different space.
But it's hard to realize that
Yeah.
when you're in it. And I
Mhm.
think that's what both of us are learning.
Mhm.
And it's hard when you triggered, you triggered. You know,
Mhm.
you like that army vet who
Mhm.
goes back, you know, because and we go into defense mode.
Yeah. Well, on the psychological part side of things, like, when you're triggered, your emotional brain takes over. And it isn't until you calm down and self regulate yourself that, and of course, this takes time and tools and therapy, prayer, and all the things. But like when your emotional brain takes over, you can't think logically until
Mhm.
that thing comes down. So when I started to learn that and I got to the point where I can realize I'm triggered and then I'm like having these conversations with the Lord and my therapist of like, my you can't show up in this space like that. Like if you're angry, you cannot yell or react how you used to react because one, you are a respectable man. Like you aren't, you're not,
Mhm.
you know what I'm trying to say. But like I can't show up the same way as I used to. So I had to learn that. And you were patient with me on that. And I know we both probably just didn't understand, okay, we know she angry, but like, all right, there's a boundary as well. So
I think the Perrys talked about this too, is a lot of
I love the
times
pair.
yeah, shout out to the Perrys. A lot of
Mhm.
times our triggers trigger one another.
Yeah.
And so, like, you may be anxious, I'm definitely avoidant. So, when you are feeling like it's about to be over, I'm
Mhm.
feeling the same way, but I go a different way.
Mhm.
Like, as you wanna come towards and want to make things I need, that space.
Mhm.
So we both are we both are learning and doing a good job
We are.
of, like, learning how to show up. I know as a man, for me, one thing that has been definitely I've been praying about, I think God has been on me about. And
Mhm.
God is so good because, like, if we are in conflict,
Mhm.
the way he doesn't get me right then. He allows me to have my little thing, and then it's after when I'm sitting there,
Yeah.
then he's like, "You know you're wrong, right?
Mhm.
Like, you need to go apologize to your wife." And sometimes I'm proud most of the time, I'm prideful and I'm like, and I wait a little second. Um, but for me, showing up, you know, trying, I
Mhm.
say trying to be loving in that way and be
You're
patient. And
you are. You're doing.
well, I say trying because it's still, a work in progress.
Yeah.
And, there's always we're always learning.
Yeah.
So as I am being patient, just
Mhm.
kind of listening. And
Mhm.
it's hard. It's hard because we want to give solutions, but listening and loving and realizing that sometimes this has most of the time well, I say sometimes it has nothing to do with me per se.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
we are we're back in the past relationship,
Mhm.
whatever trauma, and happen to show up authentically and just being like, "This is my wife.
Mhm.
I love my wife.
Yeah.
This is my friend." Um,
Constantly reminding like ourselves who the other person is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not easy because a lot of times when we get into that defense mode, and I'll let you speak after this, like I know I jump straight to defense. I go to defend like, oh, she attacking. I feel like that, and it's real in my head. And I feel like something the same way you may feel anxious. I feel like something happens to me, like mentally, where I just straight jump to a fence, and my nervous system
Mhm.
is
It's
like in
yeah.
fight or flight. So, how what has been helping you to change how you may see or see how we see each other, how you may see me in the moment of conflict?
Um, 2 parts to that. I feel like the more that I learn about how trauma has shaped the both of us, how much work it takes to rewire our brains in a healthy way. And I
Mhm,
think that's why the word is so important because it's be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
mhm.
And that's something that the Lord has to do. We just have to keep working that thing and working that thing until he breaks us free. And I truly believe that. Um, but second part to that, remind me with the question.
Well, it was how are how have you learned to see each other? How have you learned to see me and vice versa, each other in the right light?
Just reminding me of who you are to
Mhm.
me. Like who I pray for, that's who you are. And I think when naturally anyone when they're in conflict, like of course they're going to guard themselves and the other person is the enemy. But when you're in a marriage, like we're fighting this thing together. And even before marriage, like we already had that mindset, like we fighting not each other, but like we're fighting the thing, which is the enemy. So I think that's what helps me. It's just reminding me like who you are to me, like what you've done to love on me and nurture me and help me and I mean vice versa. Um so just the memory cuz the enemy can use past to work against you, but you also can have power over that and use
Mhm.
like, happy thoughts and loving moments and stuff like that when you're in conflict.
That's good because that reminds me, of the garden. God, He created male and female, and
Yeah.
they were naked in front of Him. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of times before, like when you trigger,
Mhm.
we rush out of that nakedness. We rush
Mhm.
out of, and what I mean by that is we rush out of the vulnerability.
Mhm.
We go straight to that defense is putting our clothes on, or we pick
Mhm.
up our swords and we
Mhm.
trying to attack.
Yeah.
We are like Adam is this woman that you get. I might start to blame or shift responsibility. And you might be like, well, nah, this is you and God. He ain't.
Mhm.
And so allowing God into your relationship and just
Yeah.
remembering like kind of the same thing. It's God is so good because the same
Yes, it
thing that we
is.
have to do with each other is how we have to do with Him. When we face trials, we have to remember who God is, and
Yes.
like we have to
Yes.
remember who each other is, and then not only that is remember like
That's
even
good.
because sometimes we say that, but we're human, so a lot of
Yeah.
times we can be beat it that mean evil person we gotta go to God about. But
Yeah.
you gotta remember, like, that's another time we have to remember who God is so that
Mhm.
we can say, "All right, God, you gave me my spouse. I love him. How can I pray for him? How I get still? God, help me
Yeah.
change this in me so I can help with this, or
Mhm.
I'm gonna pray about this in my partner to
Mhm.
to help cope."
I think another thing to that point
Mhm.
is we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Yeah.
I think that's another reminder, okay, I'm not fighting the person, like, I'm fighting something behind that. I'm fighting, like, a spiritual realm, like so that's also what helps me well, and
Mhm.
that's outside of us, that's just it could be myself, it could be, somebody I'm working with or somebody I came across from my past, like, it could be anything. So, yeah, just that constant reminder of who God is, who you are, who I am, who, a loved one is to me if I find myself offended and stuff like that, so yeah.
And that's is the word right there, offense.
Yes,
Offense definitely makes you gets you guarded.
yes,
So
yes,
taking
yes.
that my advice is, taking that time is something we are doing. Taking those time to just breathe and just realize like, all right, first of all, am I even really this mad? Like,
Mhm,
let me just love this person real quick with the
mhm,
love of God. And so that takes us, I mean, that kind of takes me to my next point. Like,
mhm.
we had a hard situation recently. We went to a basketball game and we had a real trigger
Yeah,
situation, and we ain't got to go into it, but
we can.
mhm. Okay. So we had a real trigger situation. We
Mhm,
went to a basketball game,
mhm.
and my baby seen somebody from her past who, Imma just put it out there, who abused her, you know, in some of the worst type of ways. So in that time again, I didn't necessarily know how to show up, but I just did the best that I could.
Did a phenomenal job.
Mhm.
Um, alright, sorry, no tears,
Go
but
ahead, baby. We
you
here now.
did a phenomenal job, and what he's talking about just I mean, I saw the person who sexually I was a child, and that was the first time I ever saw this person in 20 years, 22 years, so was a long time, you guys, and this thing has had a effect on my life in so many ways. I didn't Baby, I think it was you was the first person that I ever opened up about that to, which was another sign that she was my husband. I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe I just told him that." But the way you cultivated that safe space for me to feel safe enough to share that with you, I knew that yeah, that was another thing where I knew that you were the one. But we were at the basketball game. I saw this person and my body reacted first.
Mhm.
Um, and, just a little psychological stuff. You go through the fight, flight, or freeze. I went through all three of them and my body started to shake. I got hot. Um, oh
It's
God, I
not
got so
funny.
hot. I mean, I was sweating bullets, like, and thank God I had a sweatshirt on and it was black, but I got hot. My body started to shake and then tears welled up in my eyes all at once. And I just felt you grab hold to me because I was open with you. I said, listen, I feel like this person is going to show up because I saw someone who was related to that person.
Yeah.
And you said then, do I want to move? And I was like, I'm okay. And then I eventually saw that person. And then that's when all the reactions started to happen. But you did a phenomenal job. You held me close and I just kept taking my deep breaths. You were looking at me as if I was a baby. Like you were just very nurturing and you were literally my protector. And that's one of the things that ladies look for in a husband. Um, he's supposed to be a provider and a protector. My husband is for sure my protector. Before this, and for sure now, it was just another thing for me. But yeah, so you helped me through that. And that was about the hardest thing ever. And you also helped me pass that because I actually went up to that person at the end of the basketball game and I gave them a warm embrace, you guys.
And let me cut in right here. That was
Mhm.
the bravest thing I don't even know if I told you this yet. That was probably the bravest thing. This is real talk,
Mhm.
not podcast talk. Probably the bravest thing I had seen somebody do. Because
Yeah.
for me, if I had got the courage to go up to that person, I wasn't going up giving no hugs. Like
Yeah.
it was going, hey,
Yeah. At the time.
I ain't going up giving no hugs. I need
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp, I need my retribution. I need that. You gotta have to see me. But
Yeah.
so when I see you did, I just try to give you your space. I try to stay close by
Yeah.
because
You
I was
did.
ready. Like if someone, yeah,
Yeah.
one wrong move,
Yes.
I was gonna have to go to jail. And I'm talking about, I'm 6'5". These people were small, but I was finna take it there. Can't, you
Yeah.
can't mess with my wife. But that kind of brings us to, first of all, you talked about the first how you opened up. Um, Women are very strong, I feel like, emotionally.
Mm.
Men, on the contrary, are not. Cause like how you opened up, like
Mhm.
it took me a longer time and still taking me a longer time to be open,
Mhm.
emotionally, very like open to that point, very
Mhm.
vulnerable,
Mhm.
transparent. I think and I see this in some of the brothers that I hang out with,
Mhm.
uh, some of the young, even kids that I coach and mentor. Um, men have a fear of being known, opening up, um, being seen. It, you know, and like it's very rare. Like I have this friend who, there's only a certain situation. Like it has to be a certain situation we can get together and talk. And like, we'll hang out all the time, but, like, actually have a real, like,
Deep talk.
heart to heart talk,
Yep.
man, like, we don't do that enough with each other.
Mm.
And, it's different because, man, we have fun, we joke and laugh, and we hang out. But most of the time, and I seen this a study, like, most of the time when men hang out,
Mhm.
we hang out like it's the two of us and we're facing something, whether it be a screen or
That
like
makes a lot of sense.
we are facing like away from each other.
Like
But
watching a game or like
yeah,
okay,
and
yeah.
like, and then we'll talk like around that, or check or whatever around that.
Yeah.
But when women hang out, they
Oh my
face each
god,
other.
we are so glued.
Yeah, and so it's that women need that deep connection. Women desire that
Mhm,
deep connection. Matter like, like I just said, when y'all get together, it's face to face.
mhm.
So that obviously creates a bit of a tension when a man and woman get together because we want two different things. We are looking at, you know,
He's like, "What you looking
connecting.
at?" I'm
Yeah.
like
Two totally different things. And
yeah.
but for me, like, all right, so I've shared, a lot of things about how I felt growing up. Felt definitely burdened and like people how people view me and perceive me.
Mhm,
And like that also comes out because
mhm,
I get defensive of myself
mhm,
like quickly, even if I'm not being attacked.
mhm,
So just, as my wife, like talk to me about just us opening up and just seeing like me or me opening up, seeing me and like
mhm.
how like you showing up for me or just a woman who wants to open up wants her husband or boyfriend to talk more, to open up more.
I think it's just being a good listener. Um, the Lord put something in me specifically for you though, and
Mhm.
that
Ooh, look, Imma stop right there. So
what
we didn't tell this part when we first met.
I feel like you're about to say what I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, Imma just shoot for it. You sure?
Mhm.
Okay, so I wrote a letter.
Mhm.
That's what you were gonna say?
Mhm.
Boy, 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 I'm telling you guys, God is real. But I wrote a letter. We were in this Bible study group, and at the time, I had came back from Destin, Florida. I had went to Destin with some of my girlfriends, and I'm laughing, smiling because 'cause they're funny. But I brought back seashells for everybody that was in that group, and it was 6 seashells, I think, at the time. I think it was 6. But anyway, and also, we had dinner that night.
Yeah.
The group had dinner, and the Lord told me to write letters. It's like He was just downloading in me, y'all. Because remember, I was in this season where it was just me and the Lord. He was just downloading in me things that He wanted me to tell the other person that He told me about them. And I had got to my husband's letter last. At the time, we didn't
Friends.
yeah, friends. Like, we didn't talk.
We weren't talking.
Yeah, we weren't talking at all. We were you know, just friends. But I got to his letter last. And at the end of his letter, I wrote, um, love you, bro, or love you, sis. But when I got to the end of his letter, I was stuck. And I just wrote, love you, family. But it was in that letter that the Lord showed me who my husband really was. He showed me how you were as a child and the care and the nurturing that you need now as a man. And he showed me that. And I wrote things in that letter. I'm not going to tell y'all what I wrote, but I wrote things. And also, I don't even really remember what I wrote until I went back and read it one time, a long time
We gotta
ago.
find that. I'm pretty sure we still got it.
Yeah, we still have it. But I wrote in that and I passed the letters out at dinner. And I was sitting right next to you while we were at that dinner. It's funny because we ordered the same drink that night. I don't know if you remember,
Mhm.
but you read it at the table and you shut down. And I was like, "Oh Lord, I done heard the Lord wrong." Like I was like, "This man gonna hate me forever." Like those were the thoughts that were going through my head at the time. Like, Lord, I done told him something that they ain't got nothing to do with him. But little did I know, I said exactly what he needed during that time, or the Lord gave that to me. Um, But yeah, so I think that's what made it a little bit easier, for you to open up to me because I think you saw then that I was a safe space for what was to come for us. So
Yeah, and, like, I felt the reason I shut down is because I felt exposed. I was like, "I don't know," and and as men, many times I think maybe unhealed
yeah.
man and man who are still I won't say men who are on a healing journey,
Mhm.
We have to be tough. We have to, and we get into this mindset where we can't open up.
Mm,
Um, but we need it. Like I needed that letter.
mm,
Like I know there's times where we have deep talks where you've come to me and be like, listen, I don't feel like we connecting,
mhm,
and so we end up actually having like good emotional connection,
mhm,
and it heals parts of me, and like
mhm,
we feel so much closer. And I feel for my brothers out there who are not getting that, who won't allow themselves to be known, to be seen, to open up to somebody. And my advice to you is like you don't have to be Superman. And like like we need it. Like it's so many times like somebody die, or you lose a job,
mm,
or um something happens within us where we are just holding it in
mhm,
when we need, I believe we are not only need it, he needs us to release it so that we can find healing. And
mhm.
it is so hard for us to do that. And as a therapist, what do you think? Like what do you think about that, about man doing that? And have you seen any, I know you can't talk specifics, but just
Right.
have you seen cases like that?
I think it varies from person to person. Um, Men, not even in a therapist point perspective, like, just in general for men, especially Black men, there hasn't been a safe space for you guys.
Mhm.
But I think the point for women is to be patient and to ask him what he needs. How can I support you? And support looks different than what I may give you. Like, what I may give you what I need, and you may need something totally different. So, as for us women, to make sure that men are fully supported, heard, nurtured, we have to ask those questions. What do you need? And if you don't know, take your time and let me know when you know. But yeah, I hope that answered part.
Yeah, I think what you said is hitting on like when y'all show up in y'all
Mhm.
femininity, did I say
Word.
that? But
Boy.
but but
Yeah.
when y'all showing up as y'all authentic selves,
Yeah.
being feminine
Mhm.
and being intentional about holding a man's heart the right way. A lot of times we talk about it the other way around, but there's some things that I've shared with you
Mhm.
that, I thank you so much for not throwing it back up in my face. And I've seen that before. It's happened to me before. And when you do that to a man, he'll never trust you again.
Yeah.
He'll never trust you with his heart again. And not vice versa, but um to coincide with that,
Mhm.
brothers, like, if like, give your homies a safe space and don't throw it up in their face. And
Mhm.
in Memphis, we bad with checking.
Yeah.
And, so it's times where we're like, nah, we gotta hold it down.
Mhm.
Because it takes a lot for a man to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
Right. But we need that. It brings us, man and women, so much closer together when we just honest and be like, that hurt me. This is why. When I
Mhm.
was little, this is what happened. And
Going back to, um, trusting, like, if a woman were to throw something in your face, Proverbs 31 talks about how a man has full trust in his wife, and I think that's part of it, of, like, having that wisdom of creating that safe space for your husband or your boyfriend or your fiance, because I'm pretty sure people that are watching your podcast are on the journey and want to be at
yeah.
some point. So, yeah, creating and cultivating that safe space, and that takes time. That takes you learning your person, that takes you learning yourself, that takes you learning about their history, their traumas, and just allowing them to open up. And for me and my seat, it's been the greatest joy watching you open up because I'm extroverted, introverted, and you're introverted and you're becoming, like, more extroverted
Mhm.
in areas, but it's been so amazing watching you open up, and I've just had to sit back and allow it to happen and not pressure you.
Mhm.
You know, I can't just go full throttle because 'cause I'm a deep person. About to be a therapist, so I'm just a deep person naturally, but I can't expect you to meet there all the time if
Mhm.
you need more time to get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's very delicate on both sides.
Mhm.
And I think God created us like that for a reason. God created women who want to have that face to face reaction, those deep talks with the man who kind of may avoid that a little bit, but we both need it because y'all are our better halves. I think that's
Answer.
for the man. Yeah, for the man, it's so important that you find you a woman that you really trust and that you not just, you know, she fine, you want to knock her down. Like, I'm just being honest.
Knock
Or
her down.
yeah,
Hey.
you trying not, I mean, or she's just like, or she's a trophy, but that you find a woman that you really feel like you can trust your heart with. You know what I'm saying? That you can spend time with and has good character. That is so important. I can't impress that enough on the man, the young man out there who desire marriage, who with
Mhm.
somebody like that. Beauty fades basically. Long
Yes,
story short,
the Bible talks about.
beauty fades. But with that being said, brothers, like, listen, if you want to connect with me, definitely hit me up on IG. It is I am Curtis Phillips. I'll put that at the bottom. Along with TikTok, it is male to man. So that's male to man with the number two in the middle. And honestly, not honestly, but I want to build community. We need a community of brothers,
Mhm,
who are doing the right things,
mhm,
who want to go down the right path, live a righteous life,
mhm.
heal, get money, get in shape, and live the way God intended us to live as warriors. So definitely connect with me. I have some things coming, but sadly we are at the end.
Aw.
But I did want to give time for the people to connect with you. Where can they find you to connect with you? Where can the ladies,
Mhm,
find your socials, and just tell us a little bit. Tell
mhm,
us just quickly about your practice,
mhm.
Christian counseling before we go.
Yeah, so, like I said before, I was on the route to dentistry when I started my relationship with Lord. He turned everything around for me. And it makes sense, so much sense now, and I'm on the becoming a Christian therapist. And
Mhm.
I'm enrolled at Liberty University in my last semester doing my internship at Anchored in Healing Counseling and Coaching. Shout out to my supervisors. They know who they are. Um, so that's another thing. If anybody needs therapy, a therapist, want to get linked in, we definitely have the resources for that as well, male and female, no matter what age. Hit my husband up and he'll make sure that we'll get those things connected. But my testimony and my platform is beginning on the Move Heals on my
Mhm.
Instagram. So you can find me at the Move Heals on IG. So yeah. And then my personal, but they ain't got no
Mhm.
that.
And last thing, that is very important
Yeah.
because I was looking for a counselor, and let's just say there's not a lot of melanin out there.
Mm-hmm.
So these are people of color
Mm-hmm.
and Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and they have male and women counselors. So
Yeah.
if you were out there, Anchored and Healing is the place to be in the
Yes.
in the Memphis area. But y'all offer online as well, right?
Yes. In
Uh,
person and virtual.
in
It
person and
doesn't
virtual.
matter.
So even if you aren't in uh the Metro South area,
Mm-hmm.
then just to have you a place to go. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, thank you for tuning in and being at the Male to Man podcast, the second episode. We hope to see you again soon. Love y'all. It was good. You did so good.